Welcome to part 8, and now we're going to do the whole rope cutting on the bridge thing right, with me not falling into lava. Now, what I didn't show is that if you fell into the lava at this point, when you respawn at the door, the red lions will contact you and chastise you about how you are not supposed to fall into the lava and stuff. But come on, Boat, give me a chance. I mean, Link's trying. He's only human, or Hylian. And he's only a kid, so he's bound to make some mistakes. So, yeah. But hey, I made it this time. I did not get my fanny burn and all that, so goody. Anyway, when we go through this door right here, we are actually near a bird cage. Now, the goal here is we have to cut the ropes on the bird cage, and it will allow us to fall down into the area below, right here. Now, of course, there's a big pillar underneath it, so it's a good idea to move before you get shot back up. Now, when we go up this way right here at the top, there will be a sealed door, and the goal is to use our grappling hook to latch onto a beam, which will pull down and trigger the unsealing of the door. Now, the idea is that we have to swing backwards to make it back to this ledge, but unfortunately I screwed up here and I fell down into the lava. So yeah, this will be the last time I screw up royally and fall downwards. It will not happen again. Of course, Keys are partially to blame for this because I don't want to get knocked down to the lava, but it happened anyway. Ugh. And the thing is, when you respawn at the door, you actually respawn at the door next to the bird cage, which means we have to backtrack all the way up to this area in order to continue. But thankfully, once you pull the switch and the familiar Zelda tingle rings, the door remains unsealed even though you screw up royally, so yeah. Anyway, here we have to actually press the R button to adjust our location, and then we swing on this way. Of course, make sure you get a good enough swing because we do not want to fall into the lava. And then we just make it across these platforms and swing across that beam right there. And when we get into that room over there, we will be in a room that will have the boss key. And to get the boss key, well, it's going to be pretty interesting. And I'll show you. In this room right here, we will encounter another one of these Mactale Enemies, these giant flaming centipede, millipede kind of enemies. And our goal is to make sure that they get stunned enough so they'll curl up in a ball. Now, I had a little difficulty with this one because, one, as I try to stun the thing, I accidentally knock it into the lava, which means it will reawaken, it will get back up and fully uncoiled, and the attack continues. So it'll take me a while. And the thing is, though, those pincers they can do a good deal of damage, but I think it's only a quarter heart. And of course, there's the whole parry command. Once parry strikes up and it tries to lunge at you, you can accidentally kill it, but we have to keep it alive. We have to keep it alive because next to the flaming treasure chest, yep, those are back, there is a pressure switch, which is actually the same color as regular switches in this game, as far as I'm aware of. Now, in the past 3D Zelda games, the switches are like the pressure switches are colored blue, but I don't know if it's just a Nintendo 64 color only. But yeah, I digress. See those pincers here? They did half a heart's worth of damage, so try not to get hit by these things. And finally, I managed to get one curled up without falling into lava. And of course, what you're supposed to do is drop it by pressing R, but I threw it. But thankfully, it stopped right there on the switch, so I got lucky there. And of course, there's this big old fancy chest, which means there's the boss key right there. So now we can proceed on to the boss. Now, of course, I decided to kill this thing anyway because I need some hearts badly. Thank you. Alright, we're done here. Let's get out of here. Now, here's the thing. Once we get the boss key, we will be reintroduced to some enemies. Namely, fire keys. Goody. But they can easily die by the hand of your sword or using the grappling hook. Yeah, the grappling hook is good for stunning big enemies and stealing their items, or killing small enemies like keys. And here's the thing. Link's shield, I've read that it's made of wood and metal, but however, since this is the only type of shield in this game, like the only one of its kind in this game, if it gets touched by fire keys, it will not burn off. And good, because you know, I think people are tired of having to get rupees to pretty much you know, buy new shields and stuff. Oh, and which reminds me, there are no like-likes in this game. Yeah, thank God. Like-likes, if you don't know, are those blob enemies that if they eat you, they will steal your shield, and in some cases, if you do not kill them quickly enough, they will digest your shield, and that would suck. Alright, and at this point we are backtracking back to the room where we had to cut the rope bridge. And yeah. Now, given that this place is similar to the Fire Temple in many respects, I'm surprised that this Link isn't suffering from the extreme heat. Yeah. Because in Ocarina of Time, the Hero of Time, Link, that one, he had to get a special tunic in order to survive the extreme heat of Death Mountain Crater and the Fire Temple. And, here, this Link, all he has is the clothes that he has on his back from Grandma, and I'm surprised he's not suffering from extreme heat or anything. Of course, when does this game care about continuity? So, Anyway, here, back in this room, we go over here and get a water jug to toss it at this flaming pillar thing right here. And time it just right so that you can toss the water jug right here, and we can just ride the pillar all the way back up to the top. Alright, now we're going to have to swing across back to the boss key room area. And of course, there's still Valu still screaming because something is messing with its tail. And yeah, I'd be a little mad too if something were to mess with me in an uncertain way. Wee. Now I'm surprised that if you fall down here, you don't end up back in Dragon Roost Island area, because technically we are in a dungeon, and well, dungeon physics apply or something. You fall down, you respawn next to a door. So yeah. Anyway, before we go into the boss room, we're gonna use the warp jars to backtrack, because I want to get one more treasure chest that I had to miss earlier. So yeah, by going into this jar right here, I ended up back here at the beginning, and basically we're going to go into the room that had those red choo-choos, and I'm going to go ahead and kill the choo-choos because I do not want them bugging me while I am doing this. Yeah. It's kind of weird that when you kill these things, they have this little boing sound effect, like rubbery kind of sound effect. And what are choo-choos made of, anyway? Yeah. Anyway, at this pathway right here, we're going to grapple the beam here, and we're going to swing across and destroy this wooden plank thing. And behind the wooden plank thing is a treasure chest, which contains another treasure chart. So yeah, we are going to... Yep, another treasure chart to add to our collection, and sooner or later, I will open these things up, and once we open up these treasure charts, we will be able to pinpoint the location of the treasure out in the Great Sea. So don't worry, it'll be worth it. Trust me. And now that we have gotten the whole, the last bit of treasure before we get to the treasure chest before the boss room, we are going to go back to the boss room area, well, the boss key room area, and continue onward. Now, I could have just jump cut it straight to the boss key room area, but I wanted to demonstrate how these warp jars work, how they take you from place to place. And of course, turns out the green fogged one is warp jar point 1. Blue mist warp jar is point number 2. And the yellow mist one is point number 3. And they always go from point 1, point 2, point 3, point 1, point 2, and so on and so forth. So you can't just jump into blue mist jar 1 and end up in green mist jar... Wait a second. I mean blue mist jar 2 and end up in green mist jar 1. So, yeah. Anyway, just grapple across this area. Be careful of the Mactale. Now, of course, you can just ignore it as it'll just be crawling around, minding its own business. And, of course, see the small pot right here? Inside, it will contain one of the many great items of the entire Zelda series. A fairy! Yep, the fairies are back. Bottled fairies, in fact. And once again, just like in past Zelda games, if you have one in possession, if you lose all your hearts, they can revive you. And if you set it to one of the item buttons, you can use it as a healing item. Yeah, and before we enter the boss door, open the treasure chest right here, and we will get a Knight's Crest. Now this one is another one of these spoiled bag items that we need to get to, that we need to collect a number of before we can give it to the right person to get a nice reward. And the other one contains a chest, so yeah. Anyway, we're ready. Let's face the boss. Alright, what kind of creature would be messing with Valu's tail? Alright. Well, there's the tail. And something's coming out. Alright, folks. Meet the parasitic armored arachnid Goma. Yeah, we have another Goma, folks. And basically what we have to do with this Goma here is we have to latch on to Valu's tail. And of course, by swinging across said tail, it will release the big solid slab of rock on top of the ceiling on top of a Goma. And its armor will crack. Now, we have to do this 3 times in order to destroy Goma's armor, and then we can actually directly attack this thing with our sword. Now, be careful when Goma places the slab of rock back on the ceiling. The things of rock will accidentally hurt you and all that stuff. Well, purposefully hurt you. So yeah. Now, of course, you can actually destroy Goma's armor quickly. And but of course, Goma has its attacks. It uses its pincers to do about half heart's worth of damage. No. Yeah, half heart's worth of damage to you, and we don't want that. And if you are lucky enough to swing onto the platform where the if you're lucky enough to swing to where the platforms are in the higher area, not only you'll be able to get some good distance from Goma, you can use that time to take a rest, get some more hearts. Because in these pots there are hearts that we can use to recover, so yeah. Now, in past 3D Zelda games, there's usually been a kind of a title card describing who these creatures are. And notice that one did not appear in this fight. In fact, it will not appear in the other boss fights here as well. And there's a reason for this. There is a good reason for this, which I will explain later on in the playthrough. Now, by title card, I mean something like King of Evil in small letters, then the bigger letters Ganondorf, something like that. So, yeah. And of course, This is the third time I'm latching onto the tail, and the slab rock will fall, it will break, and it will destroy Goma's armor. And at this point, the next phase of the battle begins. And this phase is actually easy. All you have to do here is use the grappling hook to stun Goma's eye, and then attack it like crazy with your sword. And then you just do it twice, and it dies easily. So yeah, Goma, if you know what to do, is not a hard boss. And with that, it is dead. Yeah, at least what was this thing doing to the tail anyway? Perhaps something I do not want to know. And of course, after every victory of the boss, Link does this happy dance of joy, jumps around like, yay! Alright. And of course, in typical Zelda fashion, the lava dries up, and there's our warp to get out of here, which is represented by a wind. And of course, get the heart piece. Get it. Grab it. Good. Because once again, they will increase your health. Well, why do I keep saying heart piece? I meant to say heart container. Ugh. I will never learn. I will never learn. So yeah, let's get out of here. We are done. Now let's collect our reward. Of course, we see a little cutscene of how the Great Dragon Balu will pretty much calm everything down now that his tail's not being messed with anymore. And there's Medley explaining to the chieftain what's going on before the sky's clear, finally. Oh, hi, Prince Kamali. So yeah, I pretty much did all your work, people. Bird people. So yeah, you're going to give me my reward soon, aren't we? Aren't you going to give me my reward? Come on. And how'd they get down here so fast? Well, you could say that Medley used her wings to carry the prince on downward quickly, but anyway. Anyway, because of Link's deed in the Dragon Roost Cavern, Prince Kamali pretty much respects the guy now, and of course, finally we get Din's Pearl. You know, I thought there'd be an easier way to get the plot coupons, the MacGuffins we need to move on forward, but it wouldn't be a Zelda game without fighting for our prize. And of course, this here is Ancient Hylian, which we cannot translate. However, Medley pretty much says, use the Wind God's wind. And, Balu, I'm way ahead of you, buddy. I have gotten the Wind's Requiem. I think that's what it's called. And I can use it to change the direction of the wind at any time. So, yeah, I'm pretty much up to date. So once this cutscene plays out, I will proceed to the next island where I will get the next pearl. So isn't that fabulous? And of course, this will not be the last time we will see Medley and Prince Kamali. So yeah, I will see you in part 9, everybody. Bye-bye.